Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, sorry, I missed your call, Prabhuji. We can talk after the call, Prabhuji, if you want. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, we can talk later.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry. I was just making the noise.
No problem, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritcham Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhirayet Ashtaprayeshu Vadhreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistake Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumāraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're continuing from Canto 4, chapter 23, verse 49. Vainyastu duryo mahatam samsthityadhyatma sikshaya aptakama ivatmanam mena atmanyavastitaha. Amongst great personalities, Maharaj Pṛthu was achieved by virtue of his fixed position in relation to the spiritual enlightenment. He remained satisfied as one who has achieved all success in spiritual understanding. Karmani cha yatha kalam yatha desham yatha balam yathochitam yatha vittam akarod brahma satkritam. Being self-satisfied, Maharaj Pṛthu executed his duties as perfectly as possible according to the time and his situation, strength, and financial position. His only aim in all his activities was to satisfy the absolute truth. In this way, he duly acted. Phalam brahmane sanyasya nirvisangasamahitah karmadhyaksham cha manvana atmana prakrite param. Maharaj Pṛthu completely dedicated himself to an eternal servant of Maharaj Pṛthu completely dedicated himself to be an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transcendental to material nature. Consequently, all the fruits of his activities were dedicated to the Lord, and he always thought of himself as a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of everything. गृहेषु वर्त्मनोऽपि स साम्राज्यश्रियान्वितः न सज्जतेन्द्रियार्थेषु निरहं मतिरर्कवत्. Maharaj Pṛthu, who was very opulent due to the prosperity of his entire empire, remained at home as a householder. Since he was never inclined to utilize his opulences for the gratification of his senses, he remained unattached, exactly like the sun, which is unaffected in all circumstances. एवम् अध्यात्मयोगेन कर्मणनुसमाचरं पुत्रान् उत्पादयाम् आस pancharshisatmasammatan. Being situated in liberated position of devotional service, Pṛthu Maharaj not only performed all fruitful activities but also begot 5 sons by his wife Archi. Indeed, all his sons were begotten according to his own desire. विचितास्वं धूम्रकेशं हर्यक्षं द्रविणं वृकं सर्वेषां लोकपालानां ददारैखः पृथुः गुणान्. After begetting 5 sons named Vijitasva, Dhumrakesha, Haryaksha, Dravina, and Vrika, Pṛthu Maharaj continued to rule the planet. He accepted all the qualities of the deities who govern all other planets. गोपीथाय जगत्श्रेष्ठेः काले स्वे स्वे अच्युतात्मकः मनोवाग्वृत्तिभिः सौम्यैर्गुणैर्सम्रञ्जयन् प्रजाः. Since Maharaj Pṛthu was a perfect devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he wanted to protect the Lord's creation by pleasing the various citizens according to their various desires. Therefore, Pṛthu Maharaj used to please them in all respects by his words, mentality, works, and gentle behavior. राजति अधान्नामधेयं सोमराज इवापरः सूर्यवद् विसृजन् गृह्णन् प्रतपंश्च भुवो वसु. Maharaj Pṛthu became as celebrated as king as Somaraja, the king of the moon. He was also powerful and exacting, just like the sun god, who distributes heat and light and at the same time exacts all the planetary waters. दुर्धरस्तेजसे तेजसे वाग्निर्महेन्द्र इव दुर्जयः तितिक्षया धरित्रीव द्यौर् इवाभीष्टदोनूनाम्. Maharaj Pṛthu was so strong and powerful that no one could disobey his orders any more than one could conquer fire itself. He was so strong that he was compared to Indra, the king of heaven, whose power is insuperable. On the other hand, Maharaj Pṛthu was also as tolerant as the earth, and in fulfilling various desires of human society, he was like heaven itself. वर्षति स्म यथा कामं पर्जन्य इव सर्वपय तर्पयन् समुद्र इव दुर्बोधः सत्त्वेनाचलराड् इव. Just as a rainfall satisfies everyone's desires, Maharaj Pṛthu used to satisfy everyone. He was like the sea in that no one could understand his depths, and he was like Meru, the king of hills, in the fixity of his purpose. Dharmarad iva sikshayam ascharye himavan iva kuvera iva koshardyo guptarto varno yata. Maharaj Pṛthu's intelligence and education were exactly like that of Yamaraj, the superintendent of death. His opulence was comparable to the Himalaya mountain, where all valuable jewels and metals are stocked. He possessed great riches like Kuvera, the treasurer of heavenly planets, and no one could reveal his secrets, for they were like the demigod Varunas. मातरिश्वेण सर्वात्मा बलेन महसौजसा Avishahyataya devo bhagavan bhutarad iva. In his bodily strength and in the strength of his senses, Maharaj Pṛthu was as strong as the wind, which can go anywhere and everywhere. As far as his intolerance was concerned, he was just like the all-powerful Rudra expansion of Lord Shiva or Sadashiva. Kandarpaiva saundarye manasvi mrigarad iva vatsalye manuvan nunam prabhutve bhagavan ajaha. In his bodily beauty he was just like Cupid, and in his thoughtfulness he was like a lion. In his affection he was just like Swayambhuva Manu, and in his ability to control he was like Lord Brahma. Brahaspatir Brahmavade Atmavatve Swayam Harihi Bhaktyago Guru Vipreshu Vishwaksenanuvartishu Hari Prasraya Shilabhyam Atmatulya Parodyame. In his personal behavior, Pṛthu Maharaj exhibited all good qualities, and in spiritual knowledge he was exactly like Brahaspati. In self-control, he was like the supreme personality of Godhead himself. As far as his devotional service was concerned, he was a great follower of devotees who were attached to cow protection and the rendering of all service to the to the spiritual master and the Brahmanas. He was perfect in his shyness and in his gentle behavior, and when he engaged in some philanthropic activity, he worked as if he were working for his own personal self. कीर्त्योर्ध्वा गीतया पुंभिस् त्रैलोक्ये तत्र तत्र हा प्रविष्टः कर्णरन्ध्रेषु श्रीणां रामः सताम् इव. Throughout the whole universe, in the higher, lower, and middle planetary systems, Pṛthu Maharaj's reputation was loudly declared, and all the ladies and saintly persons heard his glories, which were as sweet as the glories of Lord Ramachandra. Thus ends the chapter 22, Pṛthu Maharaj meeting with the four Kumāras from the fourth canto, the creation of fourth order. Hare Krishna. So, give me 1 second. Okay. I've opened my notes. This is such a nice glorification of Maharaj Pṛthu. Yeah. And yeah, here we can see from verse number 49. Okay. It's mentioned that the son of Vena, we can see here, who is he after all? Yeah, we are saying that he's expansion of the Lord, but from whom has he come? From Vena. Yeah, was achieved by virtue. So here we can see it depends a great fund of reliability that we are in Brahmana community. Yeah, here if Brahmanas were not compassionate, they were rogues and thieves, and the kings, all plunderers in all directions, were just interested to enjoy. And it was the causeless compassion of the sages, Brahmanas, that they came together and they came up with this churning process. When they churned the thighs, then Nishad Raj came, and when they churned the arms, from that came Pṛthu Maharaj. And such a great personality. He remained satisfied as one who has achieved all success in spiritual understanding. So in the purport Prabhupada gives, Sri Krishna speaks of Mahatma in this, because here King Pṛthu's statement in previous verses regarding his vast knowledge and perfect devotional service are justified, for he is considered best among Mahatmas. Mahatmanam su mam partha daivim prakritim ashrayam bhajati ananyamanaso gnatva bhutadim avyayam. So not everyone can be simply called Mahatma. Mahatmas tu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha. So only one who, those who are not diluted are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service and they are called Mahatmas. So Prabhupada mentioned the Mahatmas are not under the clutches of illusory energy but are under the protection of the spiritual energy. Yeah. So Pṛthu Maharaj exhibited all the symptoms of a Mahatma. Therefore, he is mentioned in this verse as Duryo Mahatma. Duryo means best. Hmm. Mm, not it's not from Dura. No, it's not Durachar. It is Dhuryo. It's not Da. It is Dha. Dhuryo, best of the Mahatmas. Hmm. कर्मणि च यथा कालं यथा देशं यथा बलं यथोचितं यथा वित्तम अकरोद ब्रह्मसात् कृतम. Pṛthu Maharaj was a responsible monarch and he had to execute the duties of Kshatriya. And at the same time he is king. Both. Yeah. So this shows that the glories of Pṛthu Maharaj usually, yeah, we sometimes take renunciation from the responsibility of this here monarch. Yeah, here he is a king and he might be already tired, or he thinks how can both things can work together. If I'm working in office, I have to speak lies. If I'm in office, I have to be diplomatic. If I'm in office, I have to find my protections myself, which are against the etiquettes. No, here Pṛthu Maharaj is a Pakka Kshatriya, and a Pakka Kshatriya is obviously a devotee, because from where does he get the strength? He gets strength from devotional service. Being perfect in Lord's devotional service, he could execute his prescribed duties with complete perfection. So this is what it means when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. The purpose is not just to hear and thinking, oh, these mantras are so nice, these shlokas are so powerful, these are about the Lord's names, etc. But there are these things how we can apply in our life and advance against all the odds. Maharaj Pṛthu's activities were not ordinary, for they were in relation with the Supreme Lord. Srila Rupa Goswami has advised that things which are favorable, Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Anavritam, should be Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uchyati. Whatever is favorable to the Lord, that should be accepted. Whatever is not, should be rejected. For example, an ordinary worker conducts business in order to earn money for his sense gratification. A devotee may perform the same work in exactly the same way, but his aim, that makes the difference. His aim is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, not himself. Consequently, his activities are not ordinary. Yeah, we may saying, hey, it is same cleaning, it is same cooking, it is same working. We may think sometimes some people will come and say it's quite boring. I think I'm not doing devotional service at all. Yeah, it depends. How are we engaging ourselves? Are we thinking Krishna in the center? Are we thinking that we want to satisfy Krishna with whatever I'm doing? Maybe I have not learned that, I am not expert that, I'm not qualified for that, but whatever I am doing, I thinking that this is all for you, Krishna. Pṛthu Maharaj he had to fight to satisfy Krishna. Example, just as Arjuna, who was a warrior, had to fight to satisfy Krishna, Pṛthu Maharaj performed his royal duties as king for satisfaction of Krishna. So this is always a conflict. Should I be silent? Should I be violent? It is said that one is still practicing non-violence if he is serving Krishna. Otherwise, why will Krishna ask Arjuna to fight? Yeah, when we have to fight for values of Krishna consciousness, yeah, which means for protecting Prabhupada mission, yes, that it in fact shows our loyalty to Prabhupada. That in fact shows how much are we dedicating how much are we committed to our Prabhupada mission. Uh, so we have to. Indeed, whatever he did as emperor of the whole world was perfectly befitting a pure devotee. It is therefore said by a Vaishnava poet, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vignena Bujhaya. No one can understand the activities of a pure devotee. A pure devotee's activities may appear like ordinary, but behind them there is profound significance. The satisfaction of the Lord is what is the focus, and satisfaction of the Lord is what is the Lord is pleased and satisfied. In order to understand the activities of Vaishnava, one has to become very expert. Mahārāja Pṛthu did not allow himself to function outside the institution of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, although as a Vaishnava he was a Paramahamsa, which means we cannot simply say, hey, now I have become a devotee, I think I should give up all these things. No, just here Prabhupada is emphasizing that no, we don't have to give up everything. We have to only give up the propensities that are troubling us, but we have to carry on our duty, and duty as per Varna Ashrama. A girl can't simply say, hey, now Krishna, I will fully surrender to you and I'll not get married. No, that doesn't work. On a long run, one may see the need and then it's too late. Yeah. So he remained in his position as a Kshatriya to rule the world and at the same time remain transcendental. So this verse is so nice. In other words, none of the activities were carried out of his own sense gratification. Everything he did was meant for satisfaction of the Lord. And in fact, that is clearly highlighted why in the next verse. Phalam Brahmani Sanyasya Nirvisanga Samahita Karmadhyaksham Cha Manvana Atmanam Prakrite Param. He is saying Maharaj Pṛthu completely dedicated himself to be an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, which means not giving a chance of himself getting carried away. Oh, let me take some break, let me take some, what do you call? No, no. He was always absorbed in service. It's not like, okay, the term karma yoga is often used in Bhagavad Gita, and here in Maharaj Pṛthu is giving a practical example of what karma yoga actually is. So people usually we have this question: is karma yoga not bhakti yoga? Why is karma yoga and bhakti yoga two different terms? Here it says the first requirement for the proper execution of karma yoga is given here. Phalam brahmani sanyasya or vina vinyasya. One must give the fruits of his activities to the Supreme Brahman. That is what is karma yoga. By doing so, one actually situates himself in the renounced order of life, sannyas. In fact, Srila Prabhupada says, if a grihastha, wife and husband, who are working day and night, and if they are dedicating themselves in the service of the Lord, whatever they are getting, they are offering to the Lord, then he is considered topmost sannyas. He doesn't even have to take sannyas. This is what Srila Prabhupada says. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.2, giving up the fruits of one's activities to the Supreme Lord is called sannyas. Kamyana काम्यानां कर्मणां न्यासं संन्यासं कवयो विदु सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं प्राहु त्यागं vichikshana. To give up the results of all activities is called renunciation. And by the wise, and that state is called renounced order of life, sannyas. The word nirvisanga means uncontaminated. Sangha means also can be seen as we call usually sadhu sangha. Sangha is also called material association. Nirvisanga means uncontaminated, and Maharaj Pṛthu was uncontaminated, not at all attached to the results. In this material world, a person who is always thinking of proprietorship of everything he accumulates or work for. This is mentality of a pakka karmi. When the fruits of one's activities are rendered to the service of the Lord, one is actually practicing karma yoga. Anyone can practice karma yoga, but it is especially easy for householder who can install the deity of the Lord in the home and worship him according to the method of bhakti yoga. This method includes 9 items: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are the methods of karma yoga and bhakti yoga. These methods of karma yoga and bhakti yoga are being broadcasted all over the world by the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone can learn these methods simply by following examples of the members of the society. In one's home or in a temple, the deity is considered proprietor of everything, and everyone is considered the deity's eternal servant. That is the spirit. A householder can easily advance because he can make his home Vaikuntha. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this purport is very nice. It also explains what is the role, what can a grihastha achieve while living in the material world if he dedicates himself to Krishna. And it is said, if one always remains a servant of Krishna and engages everything in his service, One is called Jivan Mukta, liberated soul, even during his lifetime within this material world. Of course, as I said, verse after verse, there is so much to appreciate. Griheshu Vartmanopi Sa Samrajya Sriyanvitaha. He's saying, Maharaj Pṛthu, who was very opulent due to prosperity of his entire empire, remained at home as a householder. Since he was never inclined to utilize his opulences for gratification of his senses, he remained unattached. Griheshu, the word in this word is significant. Prabhupada mentions, out of the four ashramas, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa, only a grihastha or a householder is allowed to associate with women. Therefore, the grihastha ashram is a kind of license for sense gratification given to the devotee. Pṛthu Maharaj was special in that although he was given license to remain householder and although he possessed immense opulences in his kingdom, he never engaged in sense gratification. So that's the greatness. That's why here Maharaj Pṛthu is likened like Arkavat. Arka means sun. Arkavat, like he has attained such a great purity, control or detachment. In this in the Bhakti Rasam, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is this verse, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. Now, his aim is to become completely purified in the service of the Lord. That is the only goal of a devotee, without being affected by material designation. And let me quickly check what's now. Okay. And then, being situated in liberated position of devotional service, Pṛthu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities, but also begot 5 sons by his wife. This means, I don't know when, recently we were talking, is that must, is it the purpose of Grihastha life to beget children? Here Pṛthu Maharaj is showing that yes, he should be a devotee. A Grihastha means should be a devotee, and the role of a Grihastha devotee is to beget children. Prabhupada mentions, as a householder, Pṛthu Maharaj had 5 sons by his wife Archi, and all sons were begotten as he desired them. They were not born whimsically or by accident. We have to understand. And then I think I was mentioning about this particular verse, I think the other day. The first sanskar, garbhadhan sanskar or child begetting sanskar is compulsory, especially for higher castes, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, sex life which is not against religious principle is Krishna himself. So, yes, when one wants to beget a child, he must perform the Garbhadana Sanskar before having sex. The mental state of the father and mother before sex will certainly affect the mentality of the child to be born. As stated in Shastras, Yatha Yoni Yatha Bijam. Yatha Yoni indicates the mother and Yatha Bijam indicates the father. If the mental state of parents is prepared before they have sex, the child which they will beget will certainly reflect their mental condition. It is therefore understood by the word Atma Sammatam means both they underwent this Garbhadana purificatory process before begetting children. Pṛthu Maharaj did not beget his children out of lust, nor was he attracted to his wife for sense gratificatory purposes. He begot the children as a grihastha for the future administration of his government all over the world. And their names are mentioned, and then there is also how these dynasties came. These dynasties are known as Suryavamsha, Chandravamsha, two Kshatriyas on the planet, we know. And Maharaj Pṛthu was so powerful that he could exhibit all qualities of predominating deities in other planets. So, yeah. So in this way, Maharaj Pṛthu was perfect example in every time, every circumstance. Pṛthu Maharaj used to please all them in all respects by his words, mentality, works and gentle behavior. Achyutatmakaha, that is referred here, is Maharaj Pṛthu used to rule this planet as representative of Lord Achyuta, the Supreme Lord. He knew that he was the representative of the Lord. This is very important when we take up a role of a leader. It means that we should not just concoct our own ways, but we should also carefully understand, am I really representing? We have to be very, very careful. That's why when Lord Ramachandra yeah, who is always very, very peaceful, happy, and yeah, most appreciated by everyone. When everyone had um, uh, nominated him to become the king, yeah, that day, Lord Ram was very, very grave that he was not speaking with anyone because he understands how important it is and how important it is for him to be representing the Lord, to be a representative of the Lord to rule in the kingdom. And yeah, that's why he became very grave. Mm. A devotee, however, can understand the purpose of creation, which is to give facilities to living entities. The ruler of this planet should therefore know that all the inhabitants have come to this material world for sense gratification. It is therefore the duty of the ruler to satisfy them in their sense enjoyment as well as to elevate them to Krishna consciousness so that they all can ultimately return home. So, the leaders should be very responsible. The most important duty is not to just give roti kapda makan, to give the necessities. Of course, necessities list is growing and revised every now and then. But very important, what doesn't change is spiritual realization, and that is always there. And the leaders should establish spiritual centers, mm, temples, um, encourage spiritual projects, like Goraksha, cow farming, Vanidya, agriculture, yeah. So these kind of things. So Maharaj Pṛthu became so famous because he did as uh, a qualified king should be doing. King Pṛthu was so strong and powerful that no one could disobey his orders and any more than one could conquer fire itself. No one dares to play with fire. Similarly, yeah, he was so strong. That is nice, which means he was tolerant when he has to be tolerant. Yeah, Maharaj Pṛthu was also as tolerant as earth in fulfilling various desires of human society. He was like heaven itself. At the same time, he was intolerant like Lord Rudra, where he would not tolerate if some miscreants will mess up things, and he used to chastise them like anything. Uh, and this comes in the, which was that? Yeah, 60. Yeah, he was just like all powerful Rudra, expansion of Lord Shiva, not tolerating uh, anything. In his bodily strength and his strength of his senses, Maharaj Pṛthu was as strong as wind. As far as his intolerance was concerned, he was just like Rudra. Kandarbha was Saundarya. So he was also very beautiful like Kandarbha. Kandarbha is Cupid. Hmm. Manasvi, and Manasvi means very, very thoughtful. Mrigarad Iva. Rat, what? Mrigarat means Samrat. We know Rat means king. Mrigarat means king of animals. And Manuvat, he's like a Swayambhu Manu. And Brahaspati Brahmavade, in personal behavior, Brahmavade, he was like Brahaspati, Atma Vatve. Uh, yeah, I wanted to understand the meaning. Atma Vatve is in the matter of self control. He was like Hari, the Supreme Lord. And in Bhakti, Go Guru Vipreshu. He is like devotional service. He was great follower of devotees who were attached to cow protection and rendering of all service to the spiritual master and Brahmanas. So he had great respect to them. He was perfect in his shyness, in his gentle behavior. He worked as if he were working for his own personal self. But for what? Philanthropic activities. Means all the activities which are for others. He was not compromising himself. He was thinking as if uh, it is his own real work for his own benefit, but actually it is not his benefit for what he is working. He is working for the benefit of all his people. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions, we should learn from Maharaj Pṛthu that a Vaishnava or a devotee must not only be fixed in the service of the Lord, but if required, must be prepared to argue with the impersonalist Mayavadis with all logic and philosophy and defeat their contention that the supreme truth is impersonal. Mm, mm. And yeah, also like all Vaishnavas, Maharaj Pṛthu was devoted to cow protection, spiritual master, and qualified Brahmanas. Pṛthu Maharaj was also very humble, meek, and gentle, and whenever he performed any philanthropic work or welfare activity for general public, he would labor exactly as if he were tending for his own necessities. So all philanthropic activities should be thus performed like how Pṛthu Maharaj is doing. And with that, throughout the whole world, in higher, lower, middle, Pṛthu Maharaj's reputation was loudly declared, and all the ladies and saintly persons heard. And the glories of Pṛthu Maharaj is compared to that of Lord Ramachandra. In the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning Lord Ramchandra's kingdom is still existing, and recently there was a political party in India named Ramarajya Party, which wanted to establish a kingdom resembling the kingdom of Ram. Unfortunately, modern politicians want the kingdom of Ram without Ram himself. Although they have banished the idea of God consciousness, they still expect to establish the king of Rama. Such a proposal is rejected by devotees. Pṛthu Maharaj's reputation was heard by saintly persons because he exactly represented Lord Ramchandra, the ideal king. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, thus we can end this wonderful chapter. Any thoughts or want to share or ask something? Maybe for a couple of minutes. Okay. Then I wish you a nice evening.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, thanks for the wonderful session, Prabhuji. And I think to me, two things were standing out. One is like, you mentioned, in the temple, deities are the lead, and we are having, shelter in their place. So that is, something nice. And also the way a leader should behave. You quoted how Lord Ramachandra himself, imbibed, and he was in, Shraddha and all this austerity before he took up this thing. So I think uh, Bhagavatam teaches us more than the normal stories itself. So I think this kind of systematic education is very important, probably, than reading, because I think you're quoting from multiple things. So thanks for this, probably.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That's how we take shelter of Bhagavatam. That's why we are protected by Bhagavatam.
Yes, Prabhuji, exactly.
Yeah. Okay then. Thank you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Today, I don't see why, ouch, I didn't go live. Okay, so small exercise then for me. I have to upload this whole class. Okay, good. I didn't go live.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm not live.